patience tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another. This is a site populated by militant movie buffs, sad, pathetic little bastards living in their parents' basement, downloading what they think is inside information about movies and actors they claim to despise yet can't stop discussing. But Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms.
Word, bitch. Phantom's like a motherfucker.
What's up now?
I don't give a shit about winning the G1. To be honest with you, it's not even a real tournament to me. I see the same guys since I got here, sitting at the same table with a couple new faces over there. This is my second year. I'm seeing on social media that I gotta prove something. Fuck you. I ain't gotta prove shit to none of y'all. I've been proving myself since the day I fucking set foot on this goddamn island.
It makes me sick to think what you did to me, holding me back. You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR. There is nobody that eats, sleeps, or breathes this business more than me.
You asked me the same question like 15 times. Like, this got sprung on me the same time as it did you. And now I got all this other stuff to worry about, and you just keep asking me the same question over and over. I gave you the same answer every time. I said, I don't know, all right? And I'm not going to manufacture some answer for you and be like, if you want, like, go find somebody else and give them the script. And just have your little show about somebody else that wants to read your script. Like, stop trying to get me to say what you... Stop trying to, like, lead me into saying the things you want me to say, okay?
Do you remember the last time you called me a coward? We were on the set of Talking Smack. And I got in your face, and what did you do? Did you fight for your dreams? Did you punch me in the face? No, you got up and you walked away. Because as much as you pretend that you want to fight me, all you really want is this. This, Daniel. You just want me and you locked in conflict because you know it furthers your career. I have carried you on my back since I was a pro on NXT. 10 years of fighting on the indies, Daniel, to get noticed. And it took me 5 minutes of getting in your face on Talking Smack to make you famous.
This world is such a, and when I say this world, I mean it. I don't mean in an ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. You want to be successful? You want to be like Trump? Gimme. Push. Step. Crush. That's how it all is. And it's like, nobody ever stopped. Just, you know, I feel like, instead of us just being like, slavery's bad, bad whitey. I mean, all right, let's stop that. And everybody's smart enough to know that, I mean, we've been slighted, and we want ours. And I don't mean by, like, ours, 40 acres and a mule, because we passed that. But we need help. I mean, for us to be on our own 2 feet, us meaning youth, or us meaning black people, whatever you want to take it for us to be on our own 2 feet, we do need help. Because we have been here, we have been a good friend. If you want to make it a relationship type thing, we have been there, and now we deserve our payback. It's like you got a friend that you don't never look out for. You know, you dressed up in jewels. Now America's got jewels, and they paid and everything, and they lending money to everybody except us. And it's like, you know, everybody need a little help on their way to being, you know, self-reliant. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing about the album, about the Special Olympics. Everybody need a little something and they to be independent. No independent person just grew up and was born independent. You worked and you learned teamwork and you learned cooperation and unity and struggle, and then you became independent. And we have to teach that and instill that. And why is it that they want to do that? I mean, if this is truly a melting pot in the country where we care about it, and Lady Liberty got a hand like this, she really loves us, then we really need to be like that. And it needs to be the black kids. If there's a white person who got money, then you need to help them. You need to help black kids, Mexican kids, Korean kids, whatever. But it need to be real. And it need to be before we all die, and then you say, oh, I made a mistake. We should have gave them some money. We really should have helped these folks. It's going to be too late. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you got to pay your own karma. And that's when God makes you punish, when God punishes you. Because I feel like, it's too much money here. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for $36 million and we got people starving in the streets. That is not idealistic. That's just real. That is just stupid. There's no way Michael Jackson should have, or whoever Jackson, should have $1 million, $1 billion and then there's people starving. There's no way. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants.
People say, well, they earned it. Now you go out here.
If they earned it, then I think that's good, and I think that they deserve it. But even if you earned it, you still owe. Because look at me, I don't have that mega money, but I feel guilty walking by somebody. I got to give them some mail. And if I know I got $3,000 in my pocket, I feel like it's wrong to give that person a quarter. Or
I gotta stay on the positive vibe. All my people's gotta stay on the positive vibe, The negativity just brings failure, And we ain't trying to fail in this game. We're trying to succeed.
Hey, I feel. Hey.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Hoots Podcast. A podcast by two good brothers. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. We are here for you, ladies and gentlemen, who are trying to survive this Jaguars-Titans game, or depending when you're listening to this broadcast. My name is Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at NotoriousJoshy. I'm alongside the Clown Prince, Adam Daley 13. What's going on, brother?
Josh, what is going on? There you go. I had you muted there for a second just to maybe reduce the echo if we ever get an echo on there. But nothing, man. What's going on? Just listen, real quick on a football tip. I was kind of laughing last weekend because my fantasy football playoffs, life, was on the arm of Phillip Rivers, like my least favorite quarterback in the league, and who was playing 2 miles from where I live, like literally like 2 miles from where my house is. So it was kind of, that's how it couldn't get more 2018 than having to cheer for your arch rival against a home team that you really don't care about, to literally 2 miles from your home. So, welcome to 2018, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, back to you, Josh.
Steelers get a lot of Sunday night football games. Like, can you tell when a big primetime game's going on in the city since you're that close to it?
Oh my God, yeah. It's. I mean, you can, even if you're not this close to the city, you can tell. But when you're actually in the city or right outside the city limits, or it's absolutely there's you can feel it. But at the same time, I don't know if that's a good thing, because in the news, I don't know if you saw, so there was a couple Steeler fans, as they are, and the reason why I don't go to Steeler games, and the reason why I refuse to take my daughter to a Steeler game, even when the Raiders are in town, is they had something where one of our Pittsburgh drunkards, because that's what we do here, is all people do is fucking drink because there's nothing else to do. Not me. I'm just saying everyone else here, because they're miserable and they just like to drink until they're sloppy. Look at Christopher Daniels. He got feelings for Pittsburgh now, and it got him. So I mean, there you go. Great tie in there. Shout out to the BT guys for that one. SU. But anyway, but no, there was a couple fans. There's a Charger fan that him and his wife did go around to a lot of stadiums, and they basically go to 3, I guess, Charger road games every year. Been to every stadium in the country. Said this was the worst experience they've ever had. People were horrible. One of the fans was choked this woman, started choking her, and she was pregnant, 20 some weeks pregnant. So she had to go to the doctor. There's a big thing behind it. And I'd hate to say that's a singled out kind of scenario, but that's more common than not common here in Pittsburgh. So yeah. So there was that.
Yikes. Good God, man. That's brutal. Really quick, I want to give a shout out to everybody who took time out of their schedule to check out the debut episode last week. It was a lot of fun to do. We've been promoting this transition of the podcast for the last couple weeks, and I like the future where the show's going, and it'll only go as far as you guys give the show a chance. We're going to be here no matter what's going on in our lives. We're going to come in here, have some fun, talk some shit, not in a bad way, but just in the words of having fun, and just trying to remind people that it's okay to laugh a little bit, and it's okay not to take things literally all the time. So that's the fun part about doing podcasts like this, is it's okay to laugh.
I don't even know what you were saying, but I'm going to cut you off, man, because it's you wanted me to get this out early, so it's early enough. It's time for the Daley Stop, man. I'm glad you're talking about feelings. I'm glad you're talking about feelings because, listen, we need to talk about people being in their feelings all the time. I challenge anybody who's listening to this to YouTube Eric Bischoff TED Talk. I implore you to watch this. I beg you to watch this. And I do so for a couple reasons. Number one, I've always been big into wrestling and politics because I've always thought that there was a direct correlation. When I told people, when people say, why? I don't understand. Why do you like both things? And say, well, because I like bullshit. It's just funny. It's funny to watch bullshit. It's funny to watch theater played out because that's all politics is. It's just theater played out on however they want you to feel. And Eric Bischoff hits on that. And he made a lot of really great points on how there's so many connections between wrestling and politics and the news media itself and politicians and everybody on how their job isn't to make you think, it's to make you feel. So here's what I'm going to say right now. And Josh, and I'm going to after my little rant here and I pass it back to you, I'm going to let you piggyback off this, but let me get this straight. So when everybody on their podcast is talking about their feelings, they feel violated, they feel this, they feel that, then WWE is doing exactly what they are supposed to do, make you feel. They're not there to make you think, ladies and gentlemen. If you think that WWE is there to make you think, I got news for you. You might want to start thinking outside your own bubble because the same company that you got mad at for supporting, for going over there and doing a show in Saudi Arabia, which I am still not sure how I feel about it. I also know that every single one of you probably either carry an Apple or an Android-based phone in your pocket, and the crown prince of that country, when he was over here in the United States, was getting his feet kissed by Apple CEO Tim Cook and by Google CEO, whatever the hell their name is. So we can, again, throw stones wherever we want to when it comes to this game about feelings and how I feel and this and that. But again, wrestling, not there to make us think. Not there. Wrestling should not be our political platform to stand on. Otherwise, take the phones that are in your pockets, throw them out, and go buy a flip phone that says Panasonic on it. Now, but getting back to this, so all these people that claim that they know it, they're smart, they're real smart, they know better. Josh, I got to ask you, brother, are all these podcasters and all the people on Twitter that are in the bubble and always mad and talking about how they feel and this isn't right and they this and that? So you're thinking about something that you're not even supposed to think about. You're supposed to feel. And because you're overthinking a scenario that you're not even intended to really think about, it's getting in your feelings. Thus, you're always letting them win. And by them, I mean WWE, because it seems to be the only company that the wrestling bubble wants to bitch about, even though we love them, we hate them, we love them, we hate them. And I'm not trying to stand on a soapbox for them. But what I am saying, Josh, is that for all these quote-unquote super intelligent people that are on podcasts, everybody's always talking about how they feel about the product and how what they feel is right and wrong. And Josh, realistically, isn't that what it's supposed to be about? Because entertainment, again, it's not factual. It's about the feelings. So no matter how your feelings is, like he said, the great Vern Gagne said it best, it doesn't matter. As long as there's noise, as long as you're emitting an emotion, a feeling, you're doing your job. It's funny that we live in a country here in the United States that complains about snowflakes. That's the catchphrase everybody tosses out there. Snowflakes this, snowflakes that. That's all I see on Twitter anymore. That's why I don't go on it. Is wrestling fans whining. You're snowflaking it. You're flaking it. I mean, you've become everything that you claim to hate because it's in your feelings. Showing WWE is working, and that's why they're trading at $75 to $80 a share. That's why they're having programming now on Fox. That's why they're being able to sign these big, large, lucrative deals. That is why WWE right now and the wrestling industry all across the board as a whole is so successful right now, because we're living in an era where facts do not matter. It's all about how you feel. And when two of the oldest art forms are news media and professional wrestling, dating back to Abraham Lincoln, who was our first professional wrestler president, these are two things that stood the test of time. Why? Because they rely on feelings, not truth. So anytime you guys are sitting there saying that you know better, take a step back and see if it's that you know or maybe that's just what you feel. So everyone that's listening that wants to hate me, just remember, I know the truth might suck, but for as much of the feelings as you guys are already at, you're always in your feelings, I guess that makes you more of the puppet of the system rather than raging against the machine, doesn't it? Back to you.
In the words of the new Big Lebowski, fickle. Fickle.
It was great.
Fickle.
It was great. And it's true. It's true. It's true. But honestly, with all that kidding aside, and listen, and I am not throwing stones because I've been in my feelings about wrestling before too. And that's great because that's what they want you to do. But that's why, Josh, like when you and I talk, like, you know, I watch now, you know, for the show. I don't watch for my favorites or for this or that. I just want to be entertained. That's all. And I think that's where the problem is, where, you know, we're talking about the fickleness of people. And that's absolutely right. It's because they want it their way. They think they know this, that. Guys, we're not supposed to sit there and you're just supposed to be entertained, especially about something you really absolutely know nothing about when it goes behind that curtain. So.
All right. So I want to piggyback off of your going on right there. And when I see like tweets or like posts on Instagram where you have like a list of Twitter accounts, and some of these Twitter accounts even have the person's real face on it, by the way. These are literally, I look at one tweet and be like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, here are the 12 people that you can fit in 280 characters that could write, produce, and edit, and create better programming than people who actually do it in a living, whether it's WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, or anywhere else. So, as a content creator, and somebody who has worked in the entertainment business for the last 5 years, I'm not going to literally laugh in your face, but I am having a little chuckle inside of me when I see tweets like that. Because, one, you don't know the process behind creating content, especially on an entertainment platform. You know, it's very easy to come on and type something and type your second thought in your brain on a segment on Twitter. It's very easy. It's very easy. Just like in the TED Talk, Eric Bischoff started off his TED Talk ripping Naperville, which is in my home state of Illinois. And Cheap Heat is very easy to elicit heat. And there's a lot of things about wrestling that's easy to dictate. And you may think you know what the pulse of what the product is and what it should be, but are you actually really paying attention? Because as I said last week, because you have an impulse reaction on what's going on in Raw, and you want to know why this is happening and why we're not getting the answers to this feud and that feud, do you know there's a show next week that provides that same answer you're looking for? But no. It's just that particular episode on the beginning of December that you need all those answers in that said episode. I'm not going to come on here and go through the routine and tell you again about, it's on you that you watch Raw for 3 hours. I've been there. We talked about it a gazillion times. You guys know where we stand on that topic. But I will say this, though. It's one thing to say you're a hardcore fan and you're intelligent and you're this and that and you're an expert and you're an analyst and you know booking better than the people who created booking in the first place, which is another silly narrative. When I see tweets like that and I see people talk about, oh, this needs to happen, that needs to happen. So if the show's that bad, why do you care to point out what's wrong with the shows?
Because they're in their feelings. Because it's what they feel. Because when you feel, Josh, you're never wrong. That's why. Because, listen, Stephen Colbert called people out for this damn near a decade ago. And basically said, we're past, there's a thing called truthiness. Where you're not really telling the truth. You're telling an abstract version of the truth. So that you can never be called wrong. So now when it's not about facts anymore, it's not about even honesty anymore, when it's just about feelings, Josh, there's never, and then we can find anyone online to corroborate how you feel, so you feel like you must be right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. You could be shown absolutes, and it doesn't matter, because there's always one other village idiot that thinks the earth is flat.
And that's the funny thing about entertainment, and especially what we're talking about right now in professional wrestling. The fact that you can't control what's absolute in wrestling pisses you off.
Right.
And I think that's funny.
Yes.
I think that's hilarious.
Plus, I do think that because it is different. There is not that the formula is different, but they are trying different things here and there, and some people don't like. But I think some of it though too is that I think some viewers, as I am, now 39 years old, staring 40 right in the eye, I think some viewers forget that they age, the show's not going to necessarily age with them. So to say that wrestling's at such a low point, I watched the hot dog eating competition on the 4th of July and saw some dude come out dressed up like Finn Balor. Tell me how is wrestling not on pop culture top, and I know that's a very abstract random thing because Eater X used to always come out dressed like the Ultimate Warrior. I don't forget about Eater X, all you competitive eating fans out there. Yes, I remember. But still, it was random for somebody to come out as Finn Balor and not as the Demon Balor, just as Playboy Balor, But Josh, you're right. It's because people don't everybody feels like they have all the answers these days. And I think that's where WWE is always going to be successful, just like every news media station. And that's why it is a issue everywhere. It is your CNN, your MSNBC, your Fox News. It's your One American News. It's every single station. They want you to feel a certain way. And Bischoff breaks it down in such a beautiful way. And that's why I really implore you guys to check it out. But it ties in with wrestling. And think about it, guys, the wrestling media the same way too. Because don't think that there aren't people out there that might be a little more in the know that are trying to rile you up too. They know what buttons to press to get that rating because they would rather get the controversial rating than the comedic or the whatever rating. And I'm not hating on that game. Controversy creates cash. Bischoff, again, tip your hat to Bischoff. He said it in his book. But you have to know what you're getting into before you listen to it or read it and know that it's intended to draw some sort of feeling out of you so that you can think objectively first and put your feelings aside. We think we react too much on feeling anymore and not fact. And that's where we're running into this cold civil war that we have going on right now.
Right. I want to read this picture I put up on my Instagram account. By the way, you guys can check it out at Notorious Joshy if you want. It's a tweet. I didn't make the tweet, but I thought it was pretty interesting, and I thought it relates to what we're talking about right now. You are allowed to like a thing without knowing every single fact about it. You're allowed to like a movie without knowing every actor's name. A book without memorizing every page. A video game without knowing all the Easter eggs. Liking things isn't supposed to be stressful.
Well, and you know what, Josh, to add on to that, and I hate to keep saying this, but I really and this is going to be of course they're going to tie this in. Well, yeah, of course, you know what? Listen, it's just we always keep it 100 on here. And when we lost my dog a couple months ago, it fucked with me, and it made me realize that there, a lot of stuff I wasn't appreciating, a lot of the little things in life, and I needed to start not taking things as serious, and I think that's something we all need to do. It's not just me, and that's why, and I don't ever think I'm throwing stones either, guys, because I absolutely know, but that's why I had to get off social media. That's why I had to get off, I really trimmed down to just Josh's podcast, it just, and even things in my personal life, there's, changes needed to be made. And that's good though, that's what we're supposed to do as humans is catch ourselves when we're going astray and make improvements. The problem is that when we're not improving, nobody thinks that they need to improve themselves anymore because everybody again thinks that they know it all. Nobody wants to take that step back. And that's what's culminating in this self-serving, I know it all. It has to be about me and my interests first kind of scenario.
My feelings.
Yes, all about the feelings. And that's why truth doesn't matter anymore. As long as that's what you feel, that's what matters.
Yeah. And I want to get your thoughts on this, brother. I was going to go with this thing where there's this back and forth about what the problem is in wrestling today and why Vince McMahon is not connecting to people my age or people from the Attitude Era generation. And everybody seems to come up with the easy answers to what the problem is on Twitter. And again, it goes back to what we said in the beginning. The fact that you don't know what the answer is to this problem that supposedly there is a problem in wrestling today, it even bothers you to that point. Because, okay, there's this problem in wrestling. Everybody, oh, hey, news alert, everybody.
Is it
wrestling's at an all-time low. Let me get to this.
Yeah.
So they'll use Raw's format as a reason to why ratings keep going down, and we keep getting this rating topic, right? Every Tuesday, you'll go on Twitter and you'll see reports about the ratings, and I talked about this in the past. But also, when I look at Monday night, every time I'm at work and I'm scrolling up to catch up and see what's going on in the show, even though I'm not watching it live, it's always a 3-hour convention on Twitter about what's wrong with wrestling and how we need to fix it. And no disrespect to what Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks are doing or any other outlet outside of professional wrestling, the answer is staring you in the face. Is there really a problem? Is there a problem in wrestling today? Because I'll bring this up to you guys and think about this. We have wrestling companies in England selling out pay-per-view events in Wembley Arena and Wembley Stadium. We have wrestling companies in AAA getting exposure on U.S. television. We have New Japan Pro Wrestling having shows in Australia and selling out Madison Square Garden during WrestleMania weekend next week, in this upcoming year in 2019. So what's the problem here? It's the problem that the product that's on the television is not to your standards and to your feelings. Because every time I see, wrestling's at all-time low because Raw sucks, I look at that topic and I'm like, okay, it sucks to you. Does it suck to somebody? Does it suck to a little kid who actually enjoys the show and doesn't really think about the stuff that people my age or Adam's age think about when it comes to professional wrestling? It's interesting. People want to go after Corey Graves and be like, Corey Graves is just a corporate shill, and he points out fans who have podcasts. Hey, I'm a wrestling fan. Adam's a wrestling fan. We have a podcast. You're listening to it right now. But here's the difference.
Are they, though?
That's a good point. But the point is, we're here every week talking about it. We care. So is there really a problem?
Listen, it's something that, as an Oakland Raider fan, and sometimes that's how you got it. This is the problem, Josh, is it's entitlement all across the board. And like I said, it's entitlement, and it's people always being able to find a way that their thoughts or their feelings are right. And so that if Raw sucks to them, it must be the worst thing ever. And I always say, I give credit to those that say, you know what, this isn't for me anymore, and they just stop watching it. I did that with certain shows. I don't watch The Walking Dead anymore just because I got, and I'm using that as an example because of how popular it was or is. And I haven't watched the last 2 seasons, just not interest me anymore. I talk about it all the time. I don't watch The Daily Show anymore after Jon Stewart left. Nothing against Trevor Noah. I think his stand-up's absolutely hysterical. I just don't vibe with him on that type of show, But you don't see me going every week going, man, I just wish Jon Stewart would come back and Comedy Central got it. No, you just it's life, man. You just keep going. Think of how fickle and petty and fickle with my bearded long hair. I'll say it, fickle.
All right, well, let's move on. We got TLC coming up a week from Sunday. Yeah, it's on the 16th. So, yeah, a week from this Sunday will be TLC out in San Jose at the SAP Center. By the way, that arena is in the middle of nowhere. Let's say you are in the city of Chicago, right? And you go from Chicago and Western down to Chicago and Halstead. You'll see the SAP Center. That would be what it would look like. It's not by a highway. It's not by a certain area where you think a stadium would be at. I'm just speaking from experience when I went to Orlando. No, when I went to San Jose a few years ago for that WrestleMania trip. So the SAP Center, by the way, that arena has the best air conditioning I have ever had at a wrestling show. So I want to give props to the SAP Center or whatever the fuck they're calling it now. They change it. Dude, these arena names change like every 3 months. It's ridiculous.
So
I can't catch up. It's
so horrible. Yeah, I don't even care anymore what they're called. Call them whatever. Call them the whocares.com arena. I don't even, who cares?
All right, so we got 9 matches announced for TLC really quick. I'm going to go over these matches and just let me know how you feel.
Real quick, I want to go back on something. I do find it comical that people always want to get all butthurt about Corey Graves because he supports the company that he works for, a company that he believes in, a company he dreamed about working for his entire life, a company that gave him a chance even though he had an unfortunate injury that took him out of the ring, a company that's putting play. You know, it kills me that people expect people not only to bite the hand that feeds, but even when there's no reason for it. The only criticisms I have of Corey Graves this week are I don't necessarily appreciate a joke saying that during the Lucha House Party match saying, oh, is it going to be fair if the Steelers start 22 guys on defense this week? No, Corey Graves, because you're playing the Raiders. And if you need 22 guys on defense against us this week on my daughter's birthday, then you guys might not be a Super Bowl contender. That's my only complaint with Corey Graves I think that I'll ever have. Yes, we got to be rivals this week. But yeah, so anyway, I guess that's my cheesy way of saying the Raiders are going to kick the Steelers' ass this Sunday on my daughter's birthday, just because Steeler fans are getting a little too confident about this game on Sunday. So I'm picking the upset. But I just wanted to drop that line in there because, of course, Graves had no idea that they were playing the Raiders this Sunday. But the first thing I heard was, the fuck you need 22 people on defense for? You're playing us.
Yeah.
It could be me, you, and like another podcasting crew, and I'm sure we'd at least come within 10 points of the Oakland Raiders.
Right.
And I have a Raider tattoo. Guys, I'm die hard, but we got to keep it 100. All right, Josh, back to you.
Keep it up with the theme of keeping it 100 and talking about the entitlement. Another wrestler who's been getting a lot of flack from the bubble this week has been Xavier Woods. So Xavier Woods did a press conference in Manila, being an ambassador for the company, doing some press there. So I guess they're doing a tour there in the coming weeks and stuff. So anyways, he gets asked a question about the comparisons from NXT to the Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views. So here we go. He said this: when people talk about the difference between the organizations, not even organizations between NXT and the main roster. So when they say like, oh man, TakeOver killed it, SummerSlam, this is gonna suck. It's on the same company. What is there to complain about? And then you can watch New Japan, you can watch AAA, you can watch so much wrestling from all corners of the world, and it's all awesome and it's all good. It's all different guys and girls portraying their form of art that they love, that they want to give to you. So anytime anyone complains about wrestling, it's so annoying to me because people come off as these entitled infants. Because in reality, wrestling hurts so bad. And when we're hurting ourselves to entertain the masses, and sometimes the masses want to tell us how much it sucks, he goes on and on and on. So the truth hurts, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, there's going to be a bunch of dead air there because I had my mic muted. Okay, good. So I can start that little part all over again. Now, listen, I'm not throwing stones towards anybody because, when it comes to like the wrestling bubble and stuff like that, because I was there before too. But understand that if you're still getting riled up about this stuff where it's like really affecting your life, that's like for like the late, like social media and all these people that should be all in podcasting is really like your 20-year-old, 20s, like early 30s kind of game. Like I'm a little old to be doing this shit, to be quite honest with you, Josh. You know what I mean? Like I'm a little past fucking doing this, but it keeps me sharp for my job. So I got to do what I got to do. I'm kidding. I fucking love doing this shit with you. But anyway, I just wanted to see if anybody was paying attention. But no, but my point about all this is I'm not by no means am I throwing stones. But what I'm saying is that I can say with hindsight, call me an ageist, whatever. But at 39 years old, I can look back and see how wrestling used to make me act and how I would react and how I would react to the dirt sheets and how I would act on Twitter and social media and like whatever, And it was fucking silly. Like, you know, someone said to me, like, and someone said to me something about Ronda Rousey. Like, because my daughter got this little leather jacket. She wants to be like Ronda and, like, wants to be like Becky and all kinds of stuff. It's just fucking the most adorable little thing. And, you know, and I said something, and someone said something about, you know, Ronda being transphobic or being like a Sandy Hook truther or something. And listen, I know the truth's going to hurt with this too. But back when Sandy Hook happened, or back when whatever, do you know how many? I retweeted shit. Everybody at one point retweeted conspiracy theory shit, because we all want to believe that, like, at one point in our lives, we've all been in that era where you wanted to believe that something bigger than there has to be conspiracy. Life can't be this boring. There must be this big deep state Illuminati thing that's like moving off. Everyone has. Everybody has a tweet or one comment or a joke or like whatever. Like, you know. So let me ask a question. So Rhonda's comment that got her called transphobic was basically, she said was making a joke about another woman saying she might have a penis. So if a guy says to another dude, you don't have a dick, that makes them transphobic? Or is that just one of the oldest jokes? And, you know, I don't know at 39, I don't know what it is anymore, Josh. You know what I mean? Because that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm glad my daughter isn't on the internet, because like those are two trivial things that if you would hear any of my family members talk, you get either a bunch of Irish or a bunch of Italians together and get them drunk and listen to them. Give me a break. This is timid. It's tame. Everyone's in their feelings way too much, and you're starting to resent things you're starting to resent beautiful works of art because of one like let's the truth be told, Josh. If it came down to I didn't agree with people's opinions, I wouldn't watch wrestling at all. As somebody that is, I mean, I'm not a Democrat by any stretch of the imagination, but I am more on the progressive side of things, where I think that people should just be in charge of their own fucking lives. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be. A lot, you know, the wrestling lot is they're typically Republican. That ain't my side of the fucking coin. So, I hate when people say that. Well, I love his comedy, but I don't like his politics. I don't give a shit about people's politics or people's like whatever, you know. But that's, again, Josh, it goes back to the feelings. It stems from the feelings, because people have told you that that's a transphobic joke, or that people have told you, oh, well, that person is. No, sometimes people accidentally hit shit. Sometimes people, you know, and again, everybody, I guarantee you, everybody has tweeted or put something stupid on Facebook. Every single one of us has done stupid shit on social media that we all regret. So everybody, get out of your feelings and just start actually take a step back. Get in the reality again. Let's let's stop letting the news media and this president control our fucking lives, detach, and become human again.
Right. My biggest thing that I feel that's hypocritical with the bubble these days is that you want edgy content, but these same people are in their feelings every single wrestling show.
They can't handle it. They can't handle anything that would even remotely make them want to think. Other than the only thing they could take is feeling, cheering, and booing. That's it. That's all people want to do. They want to chant. They want to chant dumb shit. You know what I mean? They'll chant anything because it makes them feel fucking happy. As long as they can chant or boo, they don't care, because that's it, Josh. They can't handle any other complexities in a storyline. And that's why I love what's going on with the Renee Young, Dean Ambrose storyline so much, because it's deeper than just, it looks like they're taking it that way, but.
Yeah. My thing is, don't talk about, we need to cross the lines and we need to have more male content. No, not male. My bad. Adult content on the programming. But you're going to be salty because Nia Jax, the heel, is bragging about breaking Becky Lynch's face. If you can't handle that and you want content that really goes over the line, hell, even comedians. I saw Pete Davidson the other day go on Instagram and said he's been having to deal with cyberbullying over his personal life. And I've seen comedics talk about how the bubble in social media and all these platforms, they take the fun out of their platforms as comedians. And we like comedy because, there's no filter to it, but now we want to add filter to it.
And typically the wrestling fan is the first one to say is the first one to not want any kind of First Amendment. Regulations are terrible. They should be allowed to do whatever they want to. Who cares about the shareholders? Who cares about what little kids think? Who cares about But it is funny how I've seen adults, quote, and I'm using quotes right there, go on Twitter and have multiple hour-long meltdowns over something that's happened in wrestling that my daughter laughs at 9 years old. And again, I know I use my daughter a lot as an example, but you have to understand, to when it's something that's so trivial in an entertainment show that people think that they shouldn't be able to do that, or they should have to do this more. When a 9-year-old says, I don't think they took it too far, it's just a show. Like I'll never forget, this was a couple years ago, when who was it said somebody about Charlotte's sister, or Charlotte's brother rather. Paige, I think. Paige said something about Charlotte's brother, like real quick, and the internet went berserk. And I remember, and my daughter was a couple years younger at the time, so we had a conversation about it. And I, explained to her, like, well, how do you feel about this? And how did that make you feel? And again, here we are. How did it make you feel? Not what do you think? How did it make you feel? See, and even got me there. And she said it's just a show. She wouldn't say that to her, like, in real life. Bingo! Fucking bingo! Why can't anybody, like, that's what I mean. And listen, we need people to be dullards for the system so that the system works. And I don't want to kind of, in a way, Josh, I feel bad because I don't want to tell people to not keep falling for the smoke behind the mirrors, because we need them to keep falling for the smoke behind the mirrors. Otherwise, we can't have content where we can talk about how the right way to watch professional wrestling. But yeah, man, I just think that people should start to, you don't see people criticizing, like I said, any other universe like they do WWE. So either you love them that much or you love to hate them that much. But either way, there's love for them.
By the way, the day that I need to put Vince McMahon on trial to fill content is the day I'm going to stop doing this shit. Period.
Because that's how they felt.
That's the end of the day.
They felt the need to do that because they feel as though people would want to hear that, because other people want to feel the same way.
It's embarrassing. Swallow your pride and understand, and just accept the fact that this style of wrestling is not for you. It's okay to accept the fact that maybe you outgrown it. Right.
Listen, I don't knock people. Not my cup of tea. Never was, never will. And it's maybe something because I grew up too quick as a kid. So I never got into like the Disney Pixar stuff or the like any kind of those movies, or even like I got out of cartoons like young. So like I don't really have like the childhood like cartoonish memories as much as other people do, just because I was watching shit like Porky's and Stripes and all this stuff when I was a little kid. And if you're of a certain age, you know what movies I'm talking about right now. And it like aged like 4 and 5, and you just know that probably wasn't as appropriate. And know why I didn't go back to cartoons. Plus, they killed Optimus Prime in the Transformers movie, and I was just like, all right, this is too much. But you know what, man? There's still a lot of adults that love Disney, love it, absolutely love it, because it's the kid in them, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I unfortunately never got into that, those kind of movies. But wrestling's the same. It always starts with the kids. It really does, and then it kind of blossoms from there. That's all their messages ultimately are about that. So I don't know, Josh. That's where it kills me as a parent. I chuckle when people do get triggered by certain things. I really do, because I watch my daughter just like laugh about certain things and even find and make better points than I should actually put my daughter on a podcast. She makes better points sometimes that I don't think about. You know what I mean? That any of us think about. Then it's like, oh wait, you might be onto something, and it ends up coming true. We overthink it, guys. We're overthinking something we're only supposed to feel.
Yeah. It's just interesting that the so-called diehard fans sound like their parents that told them that wrestling sucks and it doesn't make sense why you're wasting your time with it. I think it's interesting how the tables turn in that direction.
You don't know how many times growing up I heard, well, this ain't like the old days. This is, it was good when you had studio wrestling, when Bruno and then you just have to hear that whole spiel about Chili Billy Cardell and just kind of hear everything about how they'd spray paint the faces on the back curtain so that made it look like there was more people there than were really there. There's a lot of really, there's some great, and you'd hear all these stories from everybody, but it would all stem from late 80s, early 90s. The older generation they weren't about what WWF at the time was about. So they had to make sure that they let me know, well, that's not like it was back in my day. Well, you know what? Nothing should be. We always want things to change. If nothing ever changed, how boring would life be? Like how dull, and like you're supposed to fall in love and out of love with things. You're supposed to outgrow things. You're supposed to constantly grow. But there's supposed to be those little things you kind of latch onto. And wrestling's just always, fortunately, I've always been able to still put up that mirage for professional wrestling or sports entertainment, however you want to label it. If you can't still do that, then it's not the industry's fault. It's you. It's not WWE's fault, because you're just not seeing that their playbook is different. That's all. It's a different novel. It's a different writer. It's a different genre, whether we want to admit it or not. It might be under the same genre, but it's under a different subgenre. Just like how fucking metal gets real annoying now, how it's like there's 85 different classifications of metal. But back in my day, there was just fucking metal. There was just goddamn Pantera and Slayer and shit like. Sorry, I think I'm starting to lose myself there. But anyway, yeah, man, I guess that's where I'm at with this. And I don't think this is anything that we haven't said before, but it is. I think just there are certain times a year where people get a little bit more about it, and they really want to hammer them home. And when I really think this time of year, it has less to do with WWE. And ultimately, I noticed it this week. It was a busy week for me personally. And it's been that way through the entire holiday season so far. You throw in football with that too, whether we really, and there's a whole lot of new programming on that, my family watches or I watch or whatever. So there's just a lot more going on in the fall than there is in any other time of the year. So of course it's going to feel like everything's on top of each other, So it doesn't matter how good or bad wrestling is, Josh, or WWE or whatever, it's still it still has so much competition that people are consuming so much entertainment. They're not taking time to separate one from the other. And now they're mixing up their comedy shows with their wrestling shows with their political shows. And nobody's really kind of can just stick to one thing for that. They can't stay single focused for 2 hours, for the hour and a half it would take to fast forward through a show,
Here's my tip for young broadcasters and podcasters especially. Don't market your feelings. You should let your work speak for itself at the end of the day.
Listen, there's a lot of things I feel, but trust me, nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah, you don't want to build your brand off your feelings. When you don't even have 5 episodes to your catalog and you're already defending yourself or trying to promote what your feelings are and how you're better than people, nobody gives a shit at the end of the day.
No. Well, and like I said, that's the unfortunate spot that we're in right now. It feels very 1980s ish, where I feel like this is almost like the last chapter in American Psycho, and we're ready to hopefully close the chapter, and it's going to say this is not the end. Just to let us know that it isn't quite over yet, That's how I feel about this, though, man. I really do feel like that everybody has been – listen, I'm not going to lie, man. Just to take a step back, I was doing some personal reflection. It's good to do. My therapist recommends it. I recommend it to you guys. But I was just looking back at the year, and, brother, I know that me and my family got put through the ringer this year, between – car accidents. We went through a couple different cars. We're on our 3rd car this year, to be quite honest. I got promoted a couple different times. Sam got promoted. We between different family members, being sick and in and out of the hospital and losing a dog, and just so much went on this year, Josh, that to know that even we're still standing, let alone anything else, is a miracle. So it makes me laugh and chuckle when I see somebody that's just single and in maybe their late 20s that has no responsibilities and they don't have to worry about anything. When something like this you take to a podcast and the world is crumbling because Raw sucked. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait till there's real responsibility. I can't wait. You guys are going to remember that. You guys, and I'm saying it, and just to keep it realistic, man, keep it at 100, and that's why I hope Nick G down there, Nick G does it the right way, and I always shout Nick G out, Giacobbe down in Florida, on Full Sail, because he does it the right way. He gets it. He's young, and that's why I'm not saying it. There's not necessarily a certain age to it, but there is a mentality to it, and I'll admit, looking back at age, we'll go back 10 years. At age 29, I thought I knew everything in the world. I didn't know shit. I didn't know a goddamn thing, but I unfortunately had that attitude of, well, I know better than, like all these other podcasters or the people in the wrestling bubble, I unfortunately had to go through some life experiences to realize, oh yeah, I don't know shit. And I hope it doesn't take that for other people to kind of take a step back every once in a while and look in the mirror and really dissect what's going on. Because again, Josh, you hit it on the head. If professional wrestling is affecting you that bad that it's in your feelings, that you feel victimized, you feel taken advantage of, you feel betrayed. Homies, I'm telling you, it ain't worth it. You know, it just, I don't know what to say. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, just think. We're asking you to think. We're not asking you to feel. Think about what I just said. Take your feelings for me out and think about what I just said. Put it in the text and go back and read it.
We got a interesting pay-per-view coming up in a couple weeks, like I was mentioning before. TLC usually gets like the shrug, like the shoulder shrug during that time of year because everybody's excited for the Rumble and they want to get the year over with and this and that. But look, while I was doing the articles this week and updating everybody what's going on with the match card, there's some really, really good matches on this show that's going to happen a week from this Sunday. We got Finn Balor against Drew McIntyre. That's a match that's announced. We got New Day, The Bar, and the Usos triple threat for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. That's going to be awesome. Charlotte, Asuka, and Becky signed their contract for SmackDown this week, so they'll be fighting in the tables match. SmackDown Women's Championship. We got big stipulations on this Braun Strowman, Constable Corbin. My bad. Raw General Manager-elect Constable Baron Corbin.
Be on the right side of history, dude. I'm telling you.
Yes. Man, that dude's getting a lot of shit right now, and I'm happy for him because he's doing his job right.
Yeah, hell yeah. He's doing a really good job. And I actually felt bad that I left Corbin off the top 5 last week, but I left off Rousey too, and I think both of those were like, Corbin and Rousey were going to be my, like, you know, we're going to be my, what's it called? Not alternates, I guess, but
honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions, yeah. See how much I give a shit about awards anymore, but they're kicking ass too. Sorry.
So we got those matches. Elias is going to fight Bobby Lashley. I heard that was on the show. They announced a couple minutes ago that Natalya and Ruby Riott are going to have a tables match at TLC, so that's going to be cool. We got Ronda Rousey, Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. We got Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. We got the new Daniel Bryan. That's right. The new Daniel Bryan against AJ Styles. There's just a lot of interesting matches on this program that's going to be there. Of course, we got the finals of the Mixed Match Challenge. I'm expecting to see Jeff Hardy and Samoa Joe on the show as well, so that should be an interesting match. By the way, I want to send some good thoughts to my good friend MJ. She's a big, big Jeff Hardy mark. I just want to send my well wishes to you because that brother's going to get choked out by Samoa Joe sooner or later. So my well wishes to MJ.
Hey, you know what's funny, man? I think and again, of course, we're fans, so this is how we're going to pull this out. But this ties into what you just said. I think it's funny that Samoa Joe's kind of going this straight edge society route with Jeff. And Daniel Bryan, in a weird way, is kind of going like not straight edge society, but kind of shoving his belief. Like if a vegan hippie was in a straight edge society, there you go. Or what most people think of me. Now I really do feel like Daniel Bryan is a wrestler, because that's what most people think I am. Even though I don't necessarily believe most of the stuff that he was saying. I don't necessarily know if he does either. But yeah. So now I absolutely know what people think of me because and I love the new Daniel Bryan, by the way.
Oh man. Methane gas, Alexander Hamilton. I wonder who's next on the list. But it was interesting. Byron Saxton on SmackDown, he's like, how does your daughter feel about this? And Brian's like, with a big smile on his face, I hope my daughter kicks 100,000 men in the groin. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, it's hysterical. Hold on, Josh. I'm gonna pass it over to you for a second so I can calm my dog down. Yeah, new dog. It sucks. I don't like that bark either. I like my old yap. Okay, but go ahead, Josh.
Let's give a shout out to Piper Daley, the newest member of the family, ladies and gentlemen. So TLC's coming up. I'm actually excited for this pay-per-view. The fact that Becky, Charlotte, and Asuka are going to be one of the marquee matches on the show is going to be awesome. Of course, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose kill it all the time. I don't know why the bubble is indifferent towards this feud. Like I like the Bane promo that Dean Ambrose is going with right now. I think it's something different and out of the box from Ambrose.
Hold on, you know what? Hold on. And I hate to do this in 2 shows, but you know what? I'm gonna let you finish, but I just gotta stop you again. And this has nothing to do with wrestling, but I just want you to know this is the vibe that I'm getting out of today's America. I'm looking outside because there's these little ass kids playing in my yard that aren't supposed to be out there. My dog's going crazy, so I turn the light on like I'm gonna say some shit to him, but I ain't that type of neighbor. Whatever, play in the yard. What do? They start grabbing onto the telephone pole and just humping it like they're just like going to town on it, baby. They're just working it. So they know that I'm in here looking at them just working this telephone pole over. That's the youth of America. Now I think I realize why I feel like my daughter is a goddamn genius, because compared to the rest of the neighborhood, holy shit. Yeah, I know that had nothing to do with professional wrestling, sports entertainment, or whatever, but goddamn it, sometimes when a funny story happens in real life, in real time, you share that story. Josh,
how you feel about Bane Ambrose?
I love Ambrose. Oh yeah, and he absolutely looked like Bane. I'm glad everybody picked up on that right away. It was so good. It was so good. I love this Ambrose too, man. I love what they're doing with him.
It's interesting. Both shows, you got Ambrose pointing out bad body odor for the audience, and you got Daniel Bryan pointed out how the fans are fickle in their opinions of who to root for. I find it very interesting. I don't know what the message that's supposed to be, but that's the cool part of it. We can figure out as the story goes on.
It's just like music. Interpret as you wish, because that's the truth, right? Because gray is, if you can make a character gray, not every character can be gray, but if you can make a character gray where you can get people to either love or hate, but do both, it's golden, right? Because every baby face, you're not going to get everybody to cheer for you. You're not going to get everybody to boo a heel, but you might be able to get that talents, that couple talents to where everybody's at least doing something.
Let me just say this. I think Alexa Bliss may be the hottest supervisor I've ever seen in my entire life. And I also noticed this
never
on
seen
Raw.
Me. Sorry.
Anyways, Jesus Christ. I found it very interesting that they were trolling podcasters with the Bailey Sasha Banks Q&A segment with the fans. And I'm saying
so
trolling podcasters because every fan or plant, as the dirt sheets like to say it, in the crowd that asks Sasha Bailey questions are same questions you hear on every single wrestling show. Every single one, especially this Monday, I was laughing my ass off. The one question where like, hey, Bailey, how do you feel about Sasha Banks using you? And then Sasha turned the tables and was like, oh, she's right, Graves.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So, more of that. Yeah, more of that. More of that. Yeah, more of that.
Did you notice that, or is that just me?
No, absolutely. Yeah. And listen, there's always a segment that they're ribbing any of us because we deserve to be ribbed. Those of us that are super fans of the business, and it's not that they're ribbing us, it's that they're working us. We want that. We want these feelings. We want to hate certain characters or hate certain aspects of wrestling, whether you want to admit it or not. You know what I mean? That's what kills me about people. You can't love everything about the product because then, again, they're not doing their job. Part of their job is to piss you off because it's an emotion, right? So
it's kind of my issue with NXT where they try too hard to show everybody, oh, we can do indies better than everybody else.
I guess I could see that, but I wouldn't even knock that because not that you're knocking it, obviously, I'm not saying that, but I don't know. I'm weird about criticizing much of anything anymore because I feel like because it's obviously working for them. So I don't want to say what's, you know what I mean? I guess maybe I'm more I could see where the irritant is really the super fan that doesn't shut up about NXT over every other promotion in the world and not that it's a bad thing, but it's almost like their way of saying, I still love WWE, but not WWE, wink, wink. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's the hipster way of saying I'm still down, but I'm not down. That's all.
I guess I get it from that because I saw a topic about who made more of a influence now, NXT or ECW. I just thought that was fucking ridiculous.
Well, you know what though? That could be a hell of a good debate. To be honest, I think that's a fair debate.
10 years first? Can we give it 10 years first before we go into that? Like, there's still elements of ECW that's on every wrestling show. Like, I know NXT's been around for a couple years, but can we give it at least a decade and maybe some other characters and eras to go by before we say that NXT is making more of an impact than ECW? It's still in the same company. I'm sorry, I can't look at NXT through a different lens when I see WWE logos on their turnbuckles. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
And it's hard for me to take people seriously too when the same kids that I wanted to yell at were now having a wrestling match in the middle of the street. And there's 4 of them now. There were 2, now there's 4. They must have multiplied by fucking the telephone pole. And they're like gremlins and shit, you know. I live in a weird ass neighborhood. This is fucking Pittsburgh, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. This is ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hoots Podcast. This is your intro into this is the real pilot episode right here.
Oh boy.
But I'm sorry, Josh. But the NXT to ECW thing. But you know what, though? I think with a certain amount of fairness now, Josh. I mean, NXT is going on what 6 years now. It's on what, year 5, 6,
somewhere around there. Yeah.
I mean, I do think there is something to it just because of the way, and this is a very generic, vague, you know. I think one thing that they did well that WWE on the main roster could never instantly do all the time is make international stars or keep international stars. You know what I mean? That's something ECW was always able to do. That's something WCW was always able to do. That's not something WWF/E was necessarily, it wasn't always their strength. And that's not, and I never blame them for that though, because we have to also remember the fan base for that is much different. You're getting a lot more of Middle America. You're getting a lot more of that Rust Belt that people, you know, that everybody talks about, that you got to remember they're not about the international wrestler. Didn't I always say, Josh, Nakamura wasn't going to get over as a babyface? Why? Because of the wrestling American fan, you know, and it's an American company. So I think that, Josh, what they, I would actually, I would be okay if I would take the debate that there could be comparisons on how they're bringing in international talent. I would actually, that's one where I would say, I think it would be a fair comparison already. But I agree with you though too. It's people do want to compare things way too much, just so they can compare and contrast, and then they could say, because it always has to be a debate. Ultimately, Josh, because then it goes back to what people feel, right? We're going to keep bringing it full circle. That I can't say it enough, guys. Please go watch that thing. Go watch Eric Bischoff's TED Talk. I honestly, I implore you guys. It was so. I mean, again, it's things that we've talked about on here a million times, and everybody else, but sometimes it matters more when you hear it out of somebody important. I'm a nobody, so it doesn't matter what I say. But Eric Bischoff is a highly successful individual, so it might make more sense coming out of his mouth. So,
right. I really enjoyed the twist in the Daniel Bryan appearance on Miz TV.
It was so good.
This how is kind of different from what you would expect, and I just think this new iteration of Daniel Bryan is something that I needed to see personally from him to gauge some more interest into the character.
What? Never mind Bryan. I love the fact that he's like ultra grunge Daniel Bryan. This is the greatest. This is so good.
I wanted to play Something in the Way.
So bad. He needs to change his music to something that has like a Seattle sound to it. And everyone knows what I mean by that. So.
Oh my God. Bree's gonna come out as Courtney Love. No, never mind.
No, don't bring her into this.
No.
Nah.
Never mind.
I'll say some things that get me in trouble.
Pardon the pun, never mind.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
No, my bad. Pun intended, never mind.
Yeah, for real.
So there's like 9 or 10 matches already announced for TLC. We got Tribute to Troops coming up in a couple weeks. I saw that Jon Stewart is going to be part of Tribute to Troops this year, which is pretty cool. By the way, I don't know what it is. It's ridiculous. I saw literally a dirt sheet rider. I'm not going to say who it was, but I saw a dirt sheet rider go on the soapbox about Roman Reigns appearing at Tribute to the Troops. So obviously they tape Tribute to the Troops every year, right? Roman Reigns was part of the proceeding and how they go through the Tribute Troops thing they do every year, right? He's part of the company. He wasn't part of the show. He didn't wrestle or anything like that. But this guy, because he has such a vendetta against this dude, has to make it about, they're making a way to show that, leukemia wasn't that bad, and there's this angle, and they're working everybody, and this leukemia is a work. And I'm like, you can't be that fucking stupid, right? So the guy can't go anywhere. He's stuck in his house because he's dealing with a horrible disease. But hey, you saw it a couple weeks ago. He was at a football game, and people were bitching about that. Like, really?
Yeah, fickle.
Not only fickle, just fucking stupid.
Exactly.
Let the guy live his life.
And again, this is
he can't be on television because he has leukemia. It's a work.
And I want you to just think about something. There's other sports where we cheer athletes that act like total assholes.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is battling something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and still able to go out and make a positive impact on society, and people want to hate on that too. Yeah. So again, Josh, it's because we live in a very negative society. People want to hate. It's simple. We want to hate. We want to feel, because people right now are stressed. They feel stressed, and the way to not feel stress is to vent and hate. And that's unfortunately where we're at with in 2018. Just take a look around. I hate to be the one that to really break the fourth wall on humanity right now, but just take a step back every once in a while and leave your computer, go to a coffee shop, go to a restaurant by yourself. I used to love going to the movies by myself all the time. You do it now, you're looked at like a fucking goon. But I used to love just going out to eat by myself, going to grab a coffee or something like that. Go out and do that, and just look around and see how tense people are, how stressed out people are, how agitated people are with one another. Why? Because they're always arguing online, because everybody is always right and nobody knows how to sacrifice and or compromise and or meet in the middle. So this is and this is why the news media, politicians, and pro wrestling will always win in the end.
You know why Silky Johnson is awesome? Because he has no feelings.
Nah, pimps don't cry.
Ultimate player hater.
Pimps don't cry. They don't shed a tear. I'll start singing Gator song.
Okay, so anything else that stood out to you from what you saw for the shows this week?
Let me see. Monday, I was in my feelings. No, Monday it's been such a busy week. I was kind of watching Raw with like a side eye, I guess. Like it was on while I was doing some work and stuff. SmackDown. Listen, I'm right now. I love what's going on with the Daniel Bryan, the new Daniel Bryan, Becky Lynch's character, Charlotte, Asuka. Even SmackDown right now. I don't want to say feels like the more fun show. Because I kind of go back and forth each week. But I really enjoyed Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan's promo, and just the way that he was really able to get through to the crowd, so that we know that it's like the yes movement's over. I loved him throwing the plates down. I loved him, kind of just embracing maybe character traits of his that it's just, quirky little character traits, but because everybody on the internet always has to take the smallest things and blow them out of proportion, we're making WWE's job as writers easy, because we're basically telling them what to make these people now. We told them to make Daniel Bryan this character. We whether we realize it or not, when you want to turn somebody heel, let's just see what they're saying online. We're all test subjects. All of you. You're all robots. You're cogs. You're indentured service. Because you feel that deeply about it. You're working for free. And even though you're complaining and you think you're thinking, you're really just feeling. And if you're only feeling but not thinking, are you really living? Oh.
Listen.
Tip your waitresses, try the veal, and I'll be here every day.
Let's play a little game called This Time Next Week. And brother, I'll start off with you.
Woohoo! Starting with me. Oh, okay. This time next week, I am going to, and I do mean this. This time next week, I am going to be glad that I got knocked out of my fantasy football playoffs, because that would have meant that the Oakland Raiders defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers.
This time next week, I'm going to be dreading listening to certain Christmas songs and Uber rides on my way to work.
Ooh. This time next week, I'll be celebrating the fact that I'm in the second round of my fantasy football playoffs, because the Steelers kicked the living shit out of the Oakland Raiders this weekend. That'll be this time next week.
Oh, boy. This time next week, I'm going to make sure that I catch some sleep and not stay up to 4 o'clock in the morning on work nights.
You know, I hate to say this, and this is a fucked up thing to say in America, but this time next week, I hope that we're not dealing with another something in this country, because, with the unfortunate thing of George Bush passing, I mean, he was 94 years old. I'm not trying to take it. It's sad that he passed, but also 94 years old. It's not as, don't take that the wrong way, guys. It's, but what I'm saying is we haven't had like something serious happen, and the holidays are right around the corner, and, let's just hope that everybody gets tense this time of year. Let's make sure everybody out there is calm. It'll be nice if we don't have any more tragedies, before the end of the fucking year. So hopefully this time next week, everything's like peace. And the only thing that's really making my stomach turn is Christmas carols, because I'm right there, dude. I got my first taste of a Christmas carol the other night, and I instantly remembered why I hated the holidays. Like, no, and I'm being super festive this year. We had our tree up early on like Thanksgiving night. Like we're like, this is like, we finally were doing it this year, and I was like, no, Christmas carols. So
I don't want anybody to take offense to this next one, because it's a deep-rooted issue that's going on right now. But this is something that happens in my city of Chicago, because in Chicago we don't care. Well, I'm not speaking for myself, but a lot of Chicago sports fans don't care if you hit somebody, steal something. They'll throw anything out for their sports teams to be good. So this time next week, a Chicago sports fan will call to a radio station and be like, I heard this Kareem Hunt is available. You think you could get him off the free agency? And then if I was the producer, I wouldn't even let the host hang up on him. I'll do it. Just pressing the button. Delete.
Speaking of fantasy football, he was on my team, but he really cunted that one up, didn't he? Hey, still to the waitresses. This time next week, I'm going to be bitching about the cold, because it's about to get cold, and stay cold, and you're going to hear me whine about that until the Royal Rumble. So, and I don't know why until the Rumble, because it's not like it's not going to stay cold in February. That's like the coldest month here in Pittsburgh. But for some reason, it'll just, in my own mind, I'll be like, oh, winter's almost over.
This time next week, somebody's going to be salty that TakeOver is not the night before WrestleMania.
Oh, it's not?
It's not.
Is it that Friday night?
Is a smart choice, actually.
Yeah, because it goes, that Friday night, Hall of Fame Saturday, and then, yeah, I mean, that's the logical order. Yeah, people got to get over themselves. This time next week, not to keep taking it back on football, but the NFL still isn't going to make any sense, and everybody's still going to be complaining that the NFL sucks, but yet you're going to keep watching, you're going to keep doing all these things. And everybody that everyone's complaining about, you're still going to keep doing the same routines, because all of you are puppets that can't break out of the routines that you're in, because it's easier to live the mundane, boring, just compulsively irritated life that you lead than actually making any changes in your life. Fickle!
My last one. My last one.
I'm trying to heal this episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Manny Machado will be a Chicago White Sox. So that's my last one for this time next week.
What? Who did you say was going to be a White Sox?
Manny Machado.
It doesn't matter who you said was going to be a White Sox. It's fucking December, man. No one cares about baseball.
Come on, you got the
do I look like an 85-year-old rich white dude? No, and I'm never going to either. I could care less about baseball. To me, that's like, and I played baseball for 20 years. And you know what I don't care about? Baseball. Yeah. It all.
Come on, what about the winter meetings?
Yeah. Okay. Here, all I know. Here, what about the winter meetings? I know I got to give a speech on Saturday. That's what I know about a winter meeting.
That's your winter meeting.
Yeah. Pardon me if Major League Baseball until I'm in a rocker and all I care about is guy throw ball. But seriously, who watches baseball anymore, man? Really? For the people to complain about Raw being bad and all this, baseball is the most boring. I look back. I hate that I played for that long. I don't know why I played it. I'm stuttering because I can't even come up with the words to say on how disgusted I am to know that I played a sport for 20 years that is so boring. Oh, it's like watching paint dry on top of two turtles fucking. It's the worst. It's the slowest thing ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the sign next week. Oh shit, man! Really quick, I want to give a couple shout outs.
He wanted me to bring the goods, ladies and gentlemen.
Really quick, I want to give a shout out to the NXT UK brand. It's a lot of fun. If you guys haven't seen any NXT UK shows, you're truly missing out. This new faction called Gallus with Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers is fucking awesome. I love the action in NXT UK. Rhea Ripley's the NXT UK Women's Champion. It's a fun show. I like what they're doing. And shout out to Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness, one of my favorite commentary pairings on WWE, the whole system of WWE. So shout out to the NXT UK brand. And also, I want to give shout out to Fred Hoiberg really quick because he got fired the other day from the Bulls. And
the mayor, Fred Hoiberg? Are we talking about the dude who played for Iowa State back in the 90s?
Yes.
Oh my God. I haven't heard that name since the 8th grade picnic.
Oh boy. Fred actually did used to play for the Bulls in the early 2000s when they were really bad. I remember that as a kid. Post Jordan Bulls with Tim Floyd on the bench. Good God. I want to give a shout out to him, and the reason I'm giving him a shout out, not because he's getting fired, because I'm not that insensitive of a fucking sports fan, but this guy was dealing with major heart issues. He had to get real heart surgery before he got hired by the Bulls, and he was head coach for Iowa State, and they made runs in the March Madness tournament they'd done for a couple times before he became an NBA coach. And he came in at the wrong place at the wrong time. I am a Bulls fan since I'm a kid. I love this team. They're not my favorite team in the city. It's the Bears. But anyways, I'm a Bulls fan, and seeing where this team's come, I was too young to appreciate Michael Jordan as it was happening. Once I first started watching basketball, it was his final year as a Bull in 1998.
Okay. Wow.
So I wasn't to appreciate.
Oh, that makes me feel so old. Continue, but I'm sorry. I got to mute my mic for a second. I'm going to chime in on.
I was 4 years old when I first started watching basketball, and that was his final year. Michael Jordan left the Bulls. He ended up came back with the Wizards and stuff. But, I've been a Bulls fan, and, we had the little blitzer of hope when Derrick Rose was playing around in 2010 and 2011, but that didn't work out. He fired Tom Thibodeau. Fred comes in. People are salty because supposedly Tom Thibodeau is the greatest basketball coach in the last 10 years, which is absolute grade A homogenized bullshit. So, Fred comes in. He doesn't have the bravado of Tom Thibodeau and yelling, run! This guy's losing his voice before every game's over. But Fred Hoiberg, he just never had a real chance. And honestly, I don't know where this team's going. We have a lot of young players, and this rebuild continues. But I hope things change because the Bulls still rank really high when it comes to attendance in the NBA. And it sucks that the Bulls have become irrelevant in the city. And I don't think it's all Fred Hoiberg's fault. I heard a sports radio guy call Fred Hoiberg soft the other day after he got fired. And for a guy that was dealing with heart issues, the last thing I'm going to do is call him soft. I don't care if you're a screamer, a yeller, or I'm the tough guy, Bill Parcells type of coach. Just because you yell doesn't make you a good coach. it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So it sucks. I feel bad for Fred. He's a really good person. It sucks that things didn't work out in the city with him and the teams, but I wish the best. So that's my final shout out for the show this week. You have any final thoughts?
Oh yeah, I got one thing to add, something different after, but let me add on to this real quick. You don't understand how old that makes me feel to hear someone say, I started watching basketball in Jordan's final season. I used to have, one of my first earrings was a Bulls earring. Because all they sold, the mall, Beaver Valley Mall, in fucking Beaver County, Pennsylvania, all they had was the Bulls, the Lakers, and I think the Celtics. And I've always been a Nets fan. And the Nets sucked anyway. Back then, the New Jersey Nets, we won 9 games one year or something. It was horrible. But so I just was going to get a Bulls one because I liked Jordan at the time. It was whatever. I'll admit I got tired of him winning championships for a while and having to leave probably because he owed people a bunch of money and they just wanted to cover it up. So they just said, go play baseball for a couple of years. But dude, to think that I watched his entire career and that's pro career, and that's crazy. It's crazy I couldn't imagine, I guess not growing. I don't know. This is where I do feel old sometimes, man, because I get the Jordan and LeBron debate, and I do actually give LeBron the nod, and I know that's going to cause a lot of shit, but I don't know. It's still wild, dude, and it's still that aged me there. I felt 2 more grays pop out of my head when you said I never really got to see Jordan play because I remember it was my senior year, I think, was his last year with the Bulls or something. Oh my God. But with that being said, I'm going to show you how much of an adult I really am. We're less than 1 month away from Gotham's return for the final 12 episodes. They're getting them the 100 episodes, putting them in syndication. They've been putting out these little 20-second teasers here and there because they're going with the No Man's Land storyline after Jeremiah blew up the city, all the bridges, and it's kind of you can't get in or out of Gotham. They finally showed Jeremiah post one more transformation. They put a teaser out, so if you guys want to, go check that out. Really digging the new look. Purple lipstick, which I'm totally fucking digging. Yeah. Yeah, man. I thought they went a little abstract with the Joker, and I like it. Or whatever they're going to call him. They're going to have a Harley Quinn character that Echo is going to end up becoming Harley Quinn, whether they call her Harley or Harleen or anything like that. We don't really know. But final 12 episodes. Bane's going to be introduced this year along with a couple other villains. But they also said that we are going to see the Batsuit this season. So this is how much of an adult I am, yelling at everyone to act more grown. And now here I am going to tell you, I'm going to get in my feelings and tell you about Gotham coming back and how amazing this series has turned out to be. And when that kid puts that Batsuit on, I'm probably going to shed some tears. So
I'm excited. I'm very excited for the season. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I also saw the trailer for the live-action Lion King movie. Anybody that's listened to the shows before knows that Lion King is my favorite movie of all time. And to see the trailer and the reaction towards it, and it's cool. I saw the live-action feature that Jon Favreau did for The Jungle Book a couple years ago, and it was really good. And when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, shit, this is going to be badass. And the fact they got James Earl Jones to do Mufasa again at his age, that's even cooler again. So, again, I know it's a live action. We see this movie a gazillion times. You know what's going to happen. But I don't care. I'll watch it to the day I die.
Well, it's just
the Lion King.
It's just listen, it's me, Sam, and AJ just went to go see the second Fantastic Beasts movie, And I mean, it's not like, I didn't watch it. I fell asleep. But what I'm saying is the day went and saw it, and then and they loved it. But it's not like they didn't know it was coming. Of course, we're going to sometimes but again, Josh, that's something that people aren't going to complain about, though, right? Nobody's going to complain, even though they've already read the books, they've already seen The Lion King, because we want that. We want the live action one. You're going to have a couple people complain, but that's it. The people that are always looking to complain. But so why is wrestling the one that we constantly dissect? In a negative light, and again, not talk about what you like. You'd be surprised, guys, if you tweet what's good. You'd be surprised how much better the company that does pay attention. All these other companies, they listen, and they listen. And if you tweet what's good, that's a hell of a lot easier to figure out what's good than when you're constantly telling them what's bad. Because when somebody says, well, you know what, it sucks, we'll give you an example, and you can't. But when someone says it's awesome, and then you can't actually give examples, because remember, complaints are always going to sound petty and fickle. It's easy to complain. It's hard to compliment. Start complimenting, and I guarantee you, wrestling will compliment you. That's my final thought. God damn it, that's my moment of zen.
Boom.
Mike and drop it.
Do it now, damn it. Ladies and gentlemen, you can check out every edition of the Hoots Podcast on YouTube. It's youtube.com/The Hoots Podcast. It's pretty easy to find. We'll keep you guys updated once we get the shows up on Google Play and iTunes. We'll work on that in a couple of weeks. It's just been very busy for myself and Adam, just outside of podcasting work. So we're working on it, but we do have the podcast. It's the same YouTube channel as it was for the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. So it's not hard to find. Do us a favor. Like the video. Comment. Let us know how you feel about some of the topics that we brought up on the show. Are you excited for TLC? What feuds are you looking forward to when it comes to 2019? That's a topic I want to get to in a couple of weeks before we wrap up the year. It's a little something different. It's not going to be fully fantasy booking, but just stuff that maybe you would like to see different in the upcoming year. And it's going to be very interesting. WrestleMania 35 is coming up, and the only part-timer guy I've heard that's going to be part of the show is Batista, and that's it. And that's not even dirt sheet related. I don't read the dirt sheets. I don't have time for that nonsense, but we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited for the future of this show. Last week was a success, and I think this one even topped it as well. It was a lot of fun. I thank you guys for taking time out of your schedule to listen to our nonsense and our soliloquies. But we have a lot of fun. We're here to make you laugh at the end of the day. Get off your soapboxes, smile, laugh a little bit, and have some fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen?
Start enjoying life. Enjoy your life. Stop. The pessimistic culture is horrible. Let's live a little. Let's laugh a little.
I want to send a birthday shout out to my niece, AJ, turning 9 on Sunday, my man. That's pretty dope.
Fucking time flies, man. Time, it does a fly. Yeah. So as of Sunday, I'll have a 9-year-old, which is officially a 9-year-old, which is yeah. Listen, I don't know what to say. It's this little girl is amazing. That's why I can't, I don't know what to really say. I talk about her enough on here all the time. It's not like there's any shortage of love in this girl's life. But yeah, it does take you back. Like, all the parents that like Nick over in the UK, brother, like Nick knows, and some of you other guys out there, girls that are listening to the show that are parents, that might have a little girl or a little boy out there. You know what it's like. As you start to look back at your life in kid years instead of your years, and you start to think like, Jesus Christ, like 9 already. And then you like start to look back like and you do it every year. And it's not really about like my years anymore. It's like reflective of her years. It's, and that's any parent. That's any parent out there. It's not how
goes by fast.
Yeah. It goes, I like to think that I've been a father for 9 years is frightening. And to think that I've done a semi-decent job is pretty good. I mean, she tells me I'm the best dad in the world. I don't think it's true. I think she's just lying to get free stuff. But, I know her game. But, it is. It's a very, very rewarding thing. I want to give a shout out to one of my boys. Well, actually, I don't check that. But one of my buddies reached out to me this week and was like, kind of, he was like, dude, he's like, you made me want to be a father. He was like, he's not a father yet. He's like, and I never thought about it. He was like, but just seeing you with your little girl and this and that. And he was like, I know I want to be a dad now. And it was like, whoa, don't use me as the example, please. Or my daughter, we're the exception to every rule. And this family is the exception. It's Sam included. All three of us are, not the standard. So, don't use us, please. Hey, I'm already still city scapegoat. I don't need to become a worldwide thing.
Right. We don't need more added to your plate right now, my man.
But listen, it is. It's a wonderful thing. And I have the reason why I talk about my daughter so much on this show, guys, is she's a wonderful little human being. And we need more of that in the world. We don't have enough of that. And that's why I'm glad she's not on Twitter or any of that. And you're going, well, she's only 9. Well, of course, asshole. Like, that's the reason why. But the real reason is that, it doesn't seem like that's going to be something that's going to be appealing to her when she gets older too. So, and why? Because us adults made it uncool. So if there's one thing our generation did, at least we maybe ruined social media so that they're not going to want it. So,
hey, folks, I can attest meeting AJ in person during Monday the Big Weekend. She is one rad chick. she's going to be doing a lot of cool stuff in the future. So happy birthday, AJ.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Notorious Josh, and make sure to follow the Clown Prince at Twitter and Instagram at AdamDaily13. We'll be back here next week to preview the TLC pay-per-view. Who knows? Maybe someone will get arrested or something crazy will happen in the NFL again. Who knows what's going to happen? But by the way, I don't want to end this in the summer note, but I do want to send our condolences to the Henning family. Larry, the axe Henning, passed away earlier today at the age of 82.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah. Very unfortunate. It sucks. Our thoughts with Joe, Curtis Axel, whatever you want to call him, Joe family, Joe Henning and his family. It's sad. Kurt is living up the life up there. Now he's with his dad. So Kurt
was my boy. I always talk about it. It was Heenan, then it was Kurt Hennig. Man, for me, that's what did it for me for wrestling. I fell in love with Bobby Heenan, and then Mr. Perfect came in, and I was like, "Yep, this is a lifetime thing for me." So I've always kind of felt a fan attachment to the Hennig family. So absolute condolences to anybody that's affected by that. That's a shame. I actually have an autograph of his that is up in Minnesota at my boy Ace's house. Check out Ace's podcast, by the way. I hate segueing into a cheap plug out of this, but it's the Briscoe and Big Ace podcast. Give it a look. But yeah, I've always had a special place in my heart for the Hennig family. So that's very sad news, man. Very, very sad news.
Yeah, it's been a sad year wrestling death-wise. We lost Bruno, the Anvil passed away, and the Axeman passed away today. It's very sad, and our thoughts are with their family. On that note, though, again, like we were saying a couple minutes ago, keep the positive vibes going. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you next week right here on the Hoots Podcast. Peace.